G'day folks, welcome to another episode of Euro Mining News. Today we are talking Rupert Resources, which is a Canadian listed, about 700 mil Canadian market cap, gold explorer looking to become developer who are chasing gold in Finland. We've also got a bit of news out of Bastion Minerals who've pegged some more, well, they're waiting for the approval for some more rare earth element tenements in Sweden, a long strike from what they already have. And thirdly, Northgold AB has taken on a new chief executive officer, which we'll touch on at the end. But the main news today is Rupert Resources. So these guys are, as I said, 700 mil market cap, so they're definitely not a small player. And they have got some really good hits, shallow hits at their Haina South prospect, which sits just 1 kilometre away from their flagship Ikkari project. So I'll bring up the map of that. Here you can see their announcement, and here is just a snippet from their resource update that they did at the end of last year. It's got a little map here showing where everything is. So here's their Ikkari, 4 million ounces at 2.2. This little orange dot here is this new Haina South that they've just drilled. So it's sitting about 1 kilometre away. And this dot here is basically the B2 Orion joint venture, which I spoke about just last month, where Rupert has put in a claim to take out B2's 70% stake in that one to basically have another set of feed to go into their mill, which they own, which is this one, the Patavara mill, within easy trucking distance, which can basically pump out 0.5 million tonnes per annum to get them cracking. So we'll jump straight into the release here. Rupert, new results from their winter drilling campaign at Haina South. So they just scored a 10.5 gram per tonne over 24.4 metres. Now it's important to caveat this with two of these meters are going at 112, so it's a really high grade section within a much wider interval. However, they are pretty shallow. So here is the 24 at 10 from just 65 meters down here, hole, 40 meters vertical. So this is very easy open pit material, and it's only 1 kilometer from their Ikkari primary flagship deposit. So this can basically, what they're planning to do with this is have it as a satellite deposit so that they can run in different intervals, or basically have 2 mining fronts going at the same time. Other than that, they had some other interesting hits, 29 at 1.9. This is much deeper though, 231 meters. And basically a lot of their other deeper drilling wasn't coming back with those really high grades that they were hoping for. So at the moment, Haina South is looking like it's definitely going to be a satellite pit, but it'll be interesting to see whether they can shore this up at depth. Now, they've also been continuing with drilling at their flagship Ikkari and getting some really wide hits here. 139 meters at 2 grams per tonne. So this shows the scale of this system. But so basically this Haina South could well be a much bigger system, and they're just scratching the surface. They haven't drilled too much yet. So here, Haina South has the potential to become a satellite ore body, and they're basically saying it's a broader style of mineralization than was evidenced from previous drilling. And that 112 gram per tonne 2 metre interval is showing a much higher grade mineralisation within the broader continuous trend. So the drilling that's going on simultaneously at Ikkari is basically just shoring up the resource estimate that they brought out in November of last year. So it's adding additional material for MET test work, engineering studies, and geotech data. And basically they're wanting to bring the drill spacing down to 20 meters from the nearest drill hole, which would boost the resource up to the measured category. So when they do that pre-feasibility study, which they're planning on doing at the end of this year, a lot of that will be able to go straight into proven reserves, so probable and proven. So they're also getting a bunch of metallurgical test work to de-risk the project. And here, like I said, pre-feasibility study is now targeted for second half of 2024, so pretty soon. So this Haina South basically was reappraised based on results of new high resolution geophys survey data that they got their hands on, which was flown at the end of last year. And it identified this southwestern extension, which is where they've got these shallow high-grade hits. And the reason that wasn't previously drilled was because it had been base of till tested, but it didn't show any anomalism. So this is looking like it's a real, it goes straight into high grade rather than having a supergene effect coming out from the base of till. So getting into the cross section, this big section of just that's been drilled to buggery here is Ikkari, and that's got the 4 million ounces at 2.2. Up here, these drill holes are the ones they're talking about at Haina South. So it's definitely pretty close, and you can see these faults here. They are running along and up dip of the Ikkari deposit, so they're most likely going to be related, which then you can start drilling in between, and hopefully this thing becomes much bigger than originally planned. Now, importantly, is this B2 Gold Orion joint venture project. So Rupert is going to be buying out B2 Gold 70%, so they're going to get the controlling percentage of the asset and be able to run it. And you can see it's just within a couple of kilometers of their Ikkari resource, so it's going to have huge synergies for them on the mining front. And if they can get a little satellite pit here, they can get straight down to it. It's going to be, this thing could be absolutely huge in Finland. Apart from that, there's just some cross sections showing grades. These are the two hits that were very shallow, and they're the ones that show all of the grades. So here's the 24 at 10, and here is the 23 at 1.4. The deeper hits actually showed lower grades. So 29 at 1.9, it's good, but it's deep. These ones are the real juice. You're kind of getting 9 at 2, 22 at 0.7, 10 meters at 0.7, 18 meters at 0.5. So they haven't really shored up this high grade aspect at depth, but they've definitely got some juice up the top. Another little cross section just showing how this sulfide rich breccia is sitting. It's very vertical ore body. Couple more, a bit too many cross sections here, and here we can see there were a bunch of drill holes drilled into this though, and only a couple of them came out with really high grade hits. So it's always important to look at these ones as well. Like this drill hole basically had 1 meter at 5, that was it. This one's had 1 meter at 5.7, that was it. Yeah, they definitely haven't got the full scale of mineralisation going at Haina South yet. This is still very early stage exploration is all it's saying. So that's enough from Rupert. Onto Bastion. So these guys are an ASX listed junior company. They've already got some rare earth element tenements here, and they basically just put in an application, submitted applications for additional property claims in Sweden, and they're awaiting the granting of these properties. So the new claims will be subject to reconnaissance rock chip sampling this summer. and some mapping to basically look at the historical magnetite iron workings and the areas where there was elevated rare earth element occurrences from previous companies. Once the areas have been established from this rock chip sampling, they're basically, the next step is then going to be mag surveys and potentially drilling if everything goes well. So if we scroll down, here's a overview map. This is their Gitorp number 100 tenement, which they've already got, and they've basically just pegged all these ones in blue or light blue, and they've said that this is a rare earth element kind of line from the geophysics. You can see the breaks in the geophysics there, where they're wanting to follow this along and just see just how big it is. And this announcement basically is saying that they've discovered a bunch of historical copper results in old drilling. Now that the copper price is starting to go up and everyone's talking about copper, they've included the fact that these things are also got some copper grades in them. So primarily rare earth elements, but there is a potential for copper at depth. The copper grades are sitting at 4.2 meters at 1.1 from 148, 8 meters at 0.8 from 173, and 1.4 meters at 0.2. So definitely worth chasing up that 4.2 at 1.1. And last but not least is Northgold. So these guys have just basically appointed a new chief executive officer, Seppo Tuven. He's going to be stepping in as of the 1st of May. And he's come from Endo Mines, so he's familiar with Finnish gold. He's basically worked previously at Talvivaara, Outokumpu, and Endo Mines. And he will be replacing Henrik Löfberg, who was acting as an interim CEO since December last year. So that's about all from those three today. Thanks for listening in, and see you again next time. As a disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. These are just my personal views on companies, and you should not act upon this advice before you consult a financial advisor. Thanks very much. Have a great one.